So you've told me that your daughter's frequent missing the bus and not showing up to school has caused you some frustration.
Yes.
What have you done in the past that maybe has worked for her to get on the bus? Because I know that you said this hasn't been this wasn't a recent issue.
Correct. So, last school year, I didn't have any problem with my daughter getting on the bus or going to school. She had a boyfriend at school though.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that played a part. She dated, she's 14, but she was 13 then. She had a little boyfriend. His name was Braden. And I think that was her biggest motivation to go to school, was to see him. Now, this year she did fine. The first few months of school she's done fine, but here lately it's just been very difficult. Like, she just, yesterday, perfect example, just said she didn't feel good and just didn't go. I had said I leave by 4:30 in the morning. My mom leaves the house by 6:30. We're the only two adults there, and Haley's responsible to get herself on the bus by 7, and she's capable,
Mm-hmm.
because she's shown us she's capable. But here lately it's just she doesn't want to. Now, at one point, she's in karate, so I did tell her, if you miss the bus anytime in between classes, you're not going to karate. I have since taken karate. She's not, no, for about a few weeks, she did really good. And then it kind of got to the point where I guess she accepted that, like, okay, I'm not going to get on the bus and I'm not going to go to karate. Like, so that kind of negative reinforcement, so to speak, did not work. I have not tried positive reinforcement.
Okay.
Did not think about that until the words negative reinforcement left my mouth. Yeah, I haven't considered positive reinforcement. That might be something that might be a good idea to try. Maybe I could try that. I'm not paying her to get on the bus,
Mm-hmm.
but like, when I go to work, I get a paycheck. And even the paycheck's not enough. Thankfully, my employer will say, hey, thanks for all you, just a thank you.
Yeah.
So maybe I could try positive reinforcement. Maybe just telling her good job for getting on the bus, or thank you for getting there today, or maybe validate her feelings.
So you feel that negative reinforcement hasn't been working, so maybe you want to switch to positive?
I think, yeah. I think that, I'm sorry, I just stare when I'm thinking.
So it's okay.
I think that might be a good idea, at least to try it. It frustrates me so much though, and I'm very much a why person. Like, why do I feel this way? Why am I so frustrated? And I feel like it probably stems from I'm a morning person.
Mm.
I've never had trouble. My parents never had to wake me up for school. Like, I just am very much a morning person. Luckily, I work somewhere where I can be a morning person. So I think my inability to understand why she can't get on the bus at 7 when I leave by 4:30, I struggle with that, and I'd really like to not be so frustrated.
You say that you feel really frustrated and you don't want to feel this way, so how could you alleviate your stress? What are some ways that you can do that?
She could just get on the bus. No, I can't control that, so maybe if I try to understand, maybe have a conversation with her, like, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how you really feel in the morning. But again, that's a her thing, so a me thing. How could I alleviate some frustration? Definitely deep breaths work for me in the moment. Maybe expecting it,
Mm-hmm.
being ahead of it. I don't know why I'm still surprised, 10 times later. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
Why can't you? It's happened 10 times already. So I think that would, maybe I'm really thinking, deep breaths for sure, expecting her to miss the bus, trying to stay ahead of it. And a lot of it comes from, I'm her mom. And so I feel like she should just listen to what I say. Not that I listen to my mom, but I would expect her to listen to me. That's kind of unrealistic, I guess. Yeah, I think I could definitely explore that a little more. How I could, because I do believe if you change your perception, you change your world.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to change my perception of this situation, which might take, maybe if I could flip this around, I'm going to try to do this in my head right now. If I, instead of thinking or looking at this as my daughter is just being defiant and disobedient, I don't like that word disobedient, but that's, rude, that's how I feel. I feel like she's just being defiant. Like, why, you're just not doing this. Maybe she's not doing it because she's not a morning person. That's crossed my mind. Maybe she's not getting enough sleep. I don't have a bedtime set for her. I could definitely try to enforce that. Maybe no screen time after a certain time. But that, again, doesn't change my perception. I think really trying to understand where she's coming from is going to be what helps me. I'm going to need her input on that. If she'll give it to me. She's 14, so you have to get through that little spicy attitude part first. It's the worst. I think instead of, because honestly, I'm the only one in control of my emotions, so maybe just, this is going to sound crazy, but maybe just not get mad. Like, I feel like that's possible, especially if I'm prepared for it to come.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is likely what's going to happen. If it doesn't, great. If it does, this is what we're going to do. So I have a morning routine, right? This is kind of off track to what I was just saying, but I have a morning routine, and I leave before Haley does in the morning. Haley's my daughter. I'm not sure that I could necessarily change that aspect, but my mom also has a morning routine, which includes waking her up. I'm not too sure if my daughter even has her routine from the point she's woken up, because we're not there.
Right.
We're not there. So I think maybe including her in a conversation about routines, like maybe myself, my mom can say, hey, this is our routine in the morning. What can I do to help you? Like, for instance, the girl's always digging out my hair straightener and leaving it lay around. So maybe if I could just get that out for her, if I know this is what you're going to do, maybe not enable her, so to speak, but what I could do to possibly help, what we could do. So that way it seems like we're being more supportive than overbearing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that we're coming from a different dynamic.
So you think maybe incorporating a morning routine into her schedule would help her as well?
Yes. Instead of, I'm worried about me. That sounds awful to say, but I have my routine, and that's what I do. My mom, who's I always say my partner in parenting, she has her routine, which includes my son, because my son's 6. So they have their routine established. The only part that Haley's incorporated in is the wake her up at this time part. That's it. Not even a text mom, not a call somebody, not a nothing. It's an idea. It's an idea. I like that.
So it sounds like to me that you've given me a few ideas of how you can improve the situation. You've talked about incorporating a morning routine. You've talked about working on your frustration, and you've talked about exploring different techniques to what you can do, opposed to the negative, as you said, reinforcement you've been doing. Would you be willing to start exploring and working on these ideas that you've told me in the next few weeks too?
Yeah, I think I'm going to actually kind of brainstorm this afternoon and into tomorrow and see, even talk to my mom and see what she thinks and see if we can kind of work towards that. I'm definitely going to start with the frustration part first and go from there. But I'm
Awesome.
definitely able to work, I think, on all three of those things, you know, concurrently, you know, just kind of figure out. Yeah, thank you.